Andmilky Galaxy is a growing collection of short science fiction and casually surreal stories written by Steve Peterson. Check, check, 1, 2. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Today I went for a walk. I don't script my videos. I really never do that. Sometimes I feel like I should give myself some notes though, because I was like trying to remember. Like I wish I had made some notes when I was doing my reading at the release party, because there's all this stuff that I forgot, and that's why I was making this video, so I could cover some of those things that I forgot to say. So for one thing, the name Andmilky Galaxy. I thought it was a funny name for the combination of the Milky Way galaxy and the Andromeda galaxy. So when they're combined together sometime in the future, which is supposed to happen, in my world, in my book, it's called the Andmilky Galaxy. So there's one little tidbit for you. So it contains 25 flash fiction stories, and they are science fiction, and they're surreal, and they're kind of related to each other. I tried to organize the stories in the book in a mirror-like structure. So the most obvious example of that mirror-like structure is the very first story, which is called Tom and the Lion, and the very last story, which is called The Lion and Tom. So they're both stories about the same two characters, but one is from Tom's perspective and one is from the lion's perspective. So then if you go to the next story, right after Tom and the Lion, it's Edna and Mr. Hodge. Okay, story about Mr. Hodge, who is a bunny. So the second to last story is Thomas and Mr. Hodge. So you see they're mirrored like that. And if you keep going, the next story is Yellow Tuesday, and it talks about Dynamite. Dynamite, who plays instruments. He's a musician. And the third to last story is the Green She Fly. And who's in there? Dynamite. Dynamite. He's playing an instrument. In the first story, he's playing drums. In this one, he's playing an unspecified strange instrument. So anyways, there's like it kind of goes on like that, you know. The fifth of Act 2, that's the first fifth of Act 2 story. He's a mysterious character. And the last fifth of Act 2 story. It's like the whole book is arranged like this. And then the other thing is, there's these episodic stories. So like Mr. Hodge is one example. The fifth of Act 2 is another example. There's 3 fifth of Act 2 stories. And there's 3 Moot Specs stories. And there are 3 Demery and Ornoth episodes. And so all of these are related. And especially, and this is like kind of like a not so secret thing, because if you read the book, you'll find out that Demery and Ornoth and Moot and Specs are they're in the same story. And not all of these stories are connected so strongly, but some of them are. And some of them are connected more, just more like the themes that that are contained within the Okay. In any case, so I made the cover, the painting of the cover. There's actually a video on this channel showing the making of the cover. So, and also another thing you may notice, which I have already mentioned, is this is Volume 1 of Andmilky Galaxy. So currently I'm working on Volume 2. Volume 2 will continue a lot of the stories from Volume 1. I've already started working on writing. I have 3 stories that are in the rough draft form right now. So I only really started specifically writing for Volume 2 in the last 3 weeks since the release party. So anyways, the other thing I wanted to do here in this video, which I did at my release party, is I read some stories from the book. I'm just going to read one, and it's not a particularly long one, but it's the one that's right smack dab in the middle of the book. Okay, it's called The Fifth of Act 2 at the Crystal Blocks. The fifth of Act 2 was sitting at rest while Higgs and I finished eating breakfast. Occasionally he would glance over at us when one of us said something. Higgs kept asking him about his hat, but the fifth of Act 2 would only nod and look away. That day we climbed down another flight of giant stairs. At the bottom we found giant crystal blocks in the center of a round room. We were all tired, and Higgs and I set up camp. The fifth of Act 2 sat near our fire, staring at those crystal blocks, while Higgs and I went through our evening routine, eating and cleaning. I was awoken during the night by a loud crack. It shook me to my core, so I got out of our tent to look around. There was a pale green light coming from the crystal blocks. Higgs lay unconscious near the fire. The pale green light got bright, and the ground began to tremble. A siren howled from the crystal blocks. It grew louder and louder until it shattered everything. Then all I could hear was my ringing ears. I saw Higgs move and went over to him to help him up. The fifth of Act 2 walked fluidly out between the ruined crystal blocks. He stopped at our fire and crackled out something that sounded like, "Thank you." Then he was gone. Higgs and I documented the room and the crystal blocks and made our way back out by the next Tuesday. So there you go. There's one of the stories from Andmilky Galaxy Volume 1. And if you enjoyed that story, or if you're interested in reading more of the stories from Andmilky Galaxy Volume 1, you can go check out the link in the description. Also, be sure to check out andmilkygalaxy.com, where there's more information about Andmilky Galaxy. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. I kind of feel like I should do the whole video all over again, but I don't really want to do the whole video all over again. But the thing is, if I do that, then I got to watch both videos and decide which one was better, you know?